Drill Run forces the Protect Shield and we switch out into 2 Shield Zard. The opponent's got Registeel in the back, so a potential lose con will be allowing the opponent to catch a Dragon Claw onto the Tin Can. The opponent knows they lose CMP, so I'm going to anticipate the catch on the CMP tie, and it's time to cook that basic bitch Tin Can. Welcome back to the channel. In the dying days of Season 19, we are going to be taking our final look at the very powerful Counter Poliwrath and Wing Attack Zard in the Open Ultra League. I used this team last season and went 18-2 around Expert Elo range. I started these battles today at 2650 and I managed to go 5-0 in 2 out of my 3 sets. So this team is so powerful and it kind of makes sense why these moves are getting nerfed. If you're looking to make a last minute climb, this team could certainly help you reach your goal. With that being said, we're going to keep the intro short and sweet, and without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into Shadow Machamp. Clearly I'm a victim of the algorithm. I say switch into Poliwrath. Some points to note in today's video. These games are played on hotel Wi-Fi, so I'm not even going to blame Niantic for all the frame drops. The connection was pretty dreadful. The opponent say switches into Tapu Fini. We fire off the Scald. Scald unfortunately doesn't get the debuff, but the opponent is going to be forced to throw. This is only a Surf. I'm hoping I survive and reach the Icy Wind. As we didn't debuff, that does not happen. However, as always, when you've got no idea how to win a battle, all you've got to do is save 2 shields with Zard and hope for the best. We send out Alolan Sandslash. We're going to tank the Surf, overfarm before firing off the Drill Run, guaranteeing the knockout. I've overfarmed to a stage. We've also got an Ice Punch bank to potentially knock that Machamp out later. We bank the Ice Punch for the road pivot into Zard, and out comes Public Enemy number 1, that ever annoying basic bitch Tin Can Reggie in the 2 shield. There really is no point in baiting. We are full sending Blast Burn after Blast Burn. One of the most exciting changes about next season is the switch timer switching to 50 seconds. However, currently, even at 1 minute, after throwing 4 charge moves, the switch timer will be up. So we're going to guarantee forcing all shields off the opponent, land a Blast Burn, and look to snipe with a Drill Run. Me and my opponent now find ourselves all shields down like overfarm. Before firing off the Blast Burn won't be lethal, but will put them into Drill Run range. We switch out into Sandslash. The opponent anticipates the switch, sending out Machamp. Unfortunately, Sandslash is going to be a Machamp counter confirmed. You heard it here first. The opponent's going to be forced to dump a charge move. The opponent throws the Focus Blast, securing the knockout. Back out comes Zard. We're not even going to bubble the Blast Burn, and we're going to be off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see yet another Registeel in the lead. I like Sandslash versus Reggie with an energy lead, so we're going to pivot into Poliwrath. The opponent stays in, looking to force a protection with the Zap Cannon. The opponent, of course, get the attack drop. I continue to farm up, anticipating the opponent trying to catch a Scald, and they do onto Giratina. Unfortunately, as we're debuffed, these non-stab Icy Winds don't do all that much damage, but it is going to continually debuff Giratina's already non-existent attack stat. This is another matchup where I'm going to look to pivot out at some stage. The opponent has misaligned the timer, so after throwing this charge move, my timer should be popping out. We're going to switch out into Sandslash and look to get that energy lead. We save Poliwrath for the endgame, and out comes Sandslash. I know the opponent is going to switch out, so we're just going to continue to farm up energy. I'm anticipating Reggie coming back in, but unfortunately for me, it's Virizion. This is also not a great matchup. We do have an energy, I throw the Ice Punch. I attempt to throw on the CMP tie. The opponent takes the extra. I give the opponent a full free double kick, and things have now got quite scary. Despite the opponent getting a full free double kick, the opponent's going to be unable to double kick Farmy down before we reach the next Ice Punch, and Sandslash has managed to force both Protect Shields off the opponent. Virizion, of course, does have access to Stone Edge. We're going to come in, send out Zard, look to catch the Stone Edge onto Poliwrath. Poliwrath, thank you very much for being the very best third shield in the world. The opponent saves Virizion, send back out Giratina. Giratina will be getting knocked out from the Icy Wind. If the opponent sends out Reggie, which they do, all we're going to do here is farm up to the double Blast Burn, and Charizard is going to be able to sweep the back line. It's going to take the opponent 16 turns to reach the next Zap Cannon, so we can throw 8 Wing Attacks, throw the Blast Burn, knocking out Registeel. We'll then have the double Blast Burn banked, and 1 Blast Burn will knock out Virizion. The opponent recognise the game's over and concede the match. In the next battle, we see Zygarde in the lead. The opponent doesn't like the smoke of Sandslash and pivot into Registeel. I'm going to switch out into Poliwrath, of course, shield up the Zap Cannon, and then going to overfarm before firing off the Scald. Scald will be lethal, even with a debuff. The opponent's going to be forced to shield, and if they do shield, we're just going to hit him with the next Scald. The opponent take their shield advantage. We leave with residual energy and almost full health. Out comes Tentacruel. In the last few days of the season, when all 3 leagues are available, anyone playing Ultra League is essentially in a very sweaty, try-hard team, and this team does so well into some of these top meta threats. I fire off the Icy Wind on the CMP tie. The opponent is now energy dry, so rather than letting the opponent have all the free energy in the world, we're going to pivot into Sandslash as it core breaks the remainder of the team. The opponent resets their debuff, sending out Zygarde. Zygarde, being a ground and dragon type, double weak to ice, we force a protect shield with the first Ice Punch. We're able to reach the next Ice Punch, and at this point Sandslash has done its job, so the opponent can knock me out of an Earthquake if they wish. I honestly don't care. The opponent has that free chance to land the super effective move, but of course, as we're using a Shadow Pokemon, the opponent throws the Crunch, which we show no respect for. We're then able to land the Ice Punch, which has put this Zygarde into Wing Attack farm down range. And in case you didn't know, this game is certainly going to be signed, sealed and delivered. Switch Timer once again pops up, we pivot into Zard. We're just going to shield up the incoming Crunch. Wing Attack farm down Zygarde. Charizard Tentacruel, not usually the best matchup. However, Charizard really doesn't care about typings. We farm up to the double Blast Burn, but Zard hits so hard, one Blast Burn is going to be enough to get the job done. GG's. In the next battle, we see Gliscor in the lead. The opponent say switches into Shadow Gator. I'm going to bank a boatload of energy before sending out Poliwrath. We're going to counter this Gator into a range where Scald will be lethal. And by that point, we're also going to have residual energy good to go to force a shield off the opponent with the Icy Wind should Gliscor return. We're going to throw the Scald just before the opponent reaches the next Hydro Cannon. Scald goes unshielded the opponent, hanging onto them 2 protections. They are going to get a massive Wing Attack farm down. However, if they don't shield this move, they're essentially going to be in farm down range themselves. The opponent tanks the Icy Wind. They are going to commit to the full Wing Attack farm down. The opponent leaves at 80 energy, which is enough for an Earthquake, so we're going to send out Zard, hoping the opponent YOLO the Earthquake, but of course they're baiting. Night Slash doesn't do much, they get the boost. Night Slash does give you a 2-stage attack boost, we debuffed them by 1 stage, so that was only 1 stage boosted. Again, the opponent gets the boost, but at this point, the boost doesn't really help them. Out comes Virizion. The opponent throws the Sacred Sword. On alignment, we're going to anticipate the opponent once again throwing an alignment. They don't do that, but we are able to get a CMP swap. We throw the Ice Punch, forcing the opponent's Protect Shield. The opponent's going to need a perfect undercharge to win this game. They throw the Sacred Sword. The undercharge isn't good enough. We're going to be able to force the final Protect Shield with the Ice Punch, and we've got a whole heap of energy on Zard banked. Zard Virizion, the easiest CMP win of my life. We send back out Zard, throw the Blast Burn, and we're going to be able to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into Virizion. That's a yikes lead. If I ever did see one, we say switch into Poliwrath, which also has a losing matchup. However, in Season 19, this matchup isn't too bad. Next season, with our slower pacing, it is going to be objectively worse. The opponent tries their luck catching the Icy Wind onto Shadow Snorlax. We see it coming in, fire off the Scald, forcing a Protect Shield. You can see that these counters are tearing the opponent apart. I am going to fire off the Icy Wind. Icy Wind won't be lethal, but will put him incredibly low. The opponent makes a mistake, throwing a charge move at a point where we're not at 1 HP. The counter will be knocking him out, and just like that, switch advantage is mine. This game has been flipped on its head. Sandslash double weak to fighting, but ironically Virizion double weak to flying. We send out Zard. The opponent says no thank you and concede the match. In the next battle, we see another Gliscor in the lead. The opponent stays in, try the luck, catching the Ice Punch onto Poliwrath. I bank my energy and respond with Zard. I'd say 99.9% of players here always throw the Icy Wind, but I always respect the first move because on the off chance I do get hit with a Scald, we will be getting one shot and vanquish back to our Pokeball. We fire off the Blast Burn on the CMP tie to the next Icy Wind. The opponent does throw the Icy Wind, which is an easy tank, and we are going to get a massive Wing Attack farm down. Zard now has a 2-stage lowered attack. However, Zard hits incredibly hard and Blast Burn, one of the finest moves in the game. Out comes Gliscor, the first Blast Burn. Force a Protect Shield. The opponent can't shield this as Ice Punch will be double super effective. Even debuff, that Blast Burn does a very solid chunk of chip damage. I send out Sandslash, look to force the final shield with the Ice Punch. The opponent makes a very heads up play, catching the Ice Punch onto Gator. I'm going to rebank an Ice Punch and then send out Poliwrath. So this battle has quite a few variables. Of course, an Icy Wind will knock out Gliscor. Of course, an Ice Punch would also knock them out. How I'm going to play this battle is, I'm just going to counter away, put this thing into Shadow Claw farm down range for my Sandslash, and look to get towards the double Ice Punch. What also makes this matchup interesting is Poliwrath, Sandslash and Gliscor all have very similar attack stats in the Ultra League. They're all around 150. So I could have knocked Gator out of an Icy Wind, thrown an Icy Wind at Gliscor, and then it would have come down to CMP who would have won this battle. However, what we're going to do is give the opponent the opportunity to win this battle. As they're an expert, if they would have Earthquaked me, they would have won this battle. However, as they went for unnecessary bait, they're going to learn a lesson. The only logical win con there would be full sending the Earthquake. The first Ice Punch forced the final Protect Shield, and the second Ice Punch is going to be all she wrote. GG's. In the next battle, we see another Reggie in the lead. I say switch into Poliwrath, and out comes Confusion Cresselia. Of course, this does not look fantastic by any means. However, as I said previously in the video, I like Sandslash into Reggie with an energy lead, and that is exactly what we're going to get here. I get the 30% chance of getting the attack drop, which does help me out, to be honest, as we do resist everything from this Cresselia, and we're going to take hardly anything from these charge moves. I am going to commit to the world's most aggressive farm down. We're going to go well over 100 energy, but I don't care. I don't really think it's worth throwing anything whatsoever. I just want to leave with all the energy in the world. The opponent knows they can't send out Reggie, so opt to send out Gator. The first drill run goes unshielded. The second drill run should be forcing a Protect Shield, and we're going to pivot out into 2 Shield Zard. Much like the previous battle, you've got to play chess, not checkers. This Gator will be finding herself in Dragon Claw range. I also know this opponent is a legend, so they're going to know that Charizard has the higher attack stat. So I'm going to anticipate the opponent trying to catch a Dragon Claw onto Reggie. Nah, trainer. I can see that play coming. We cook them with the first Blast Burn. We're going to throw the second Blast Burn, forcing the Protect Shield. And at this point, we're just going to save our shield for Sandslash. It's really important in PvP to not only think about your win con, but think about win cons for the opponent. If they would have caught the Dragon Claw there, things would have got very dicey. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death in the lead. We say switch into Poliwrath, baiting out Ampharos. This might look like we're getting hard countered. However, Poliwrath Ampharos isn't that bad a matchup, and we've baited out something that our closer Zard doesn't want to see. The opponent does need to Thunder Punch to take me out here. They throw the Brutal Swing, which means their second move is either Trailblaze or Focus Blast. I think here I should have actually Icy Wind, as the opponent logically is going to 2 shield and commit to the Volt Switch farm down. I'm going to send out Sandslash. Even if they've got Focus Blast, I don't give a shit, as Sandslash completely dead weight against that Talonflame. Focus Blast picks up that 1-hit KO, but we send out Zard, get a very nice wing attack farm down, and it's now 2 shield Zard versus the Wild. This is almost certainly a Flame Charge bait, but I really need to keep some HP. We're going to throw 2 wing attacks and the Blast Burn. Blast Burn is resisted, but does do objectively more than Dragon Claw. I'm then going to throw 2 further wing attacks and the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will be removing Talonflame from the field of play. Unless the opponent has something that resists fire in the back, Charizard should be looking primed to sweep. Out comes Cresselia. Moonblast does come with a 10% chance to lower my attack, so a better play here would have been throw the first Blast Burn before the opponent potentially debuffs me. However, they don't get the debuff, and even if they would have, we would have been able to reach a Blast Burn and a Dragon Claw required to win this game. But with no debuff, 2 Blast Burns, easily going to get the job done, and I emerge victorious. In the next battle, we see Tapu Fini in the lead, a pretty neutral matchup. The opponent can hit the neutral with the Water Gun and Surf combination. However, this opponent makes a very strange play, throwing the Nature's Madness. I am going to return fire with the Drill Run, and then it's going to become very apparent why the opponent debuffed my defense. They're going to look to snipe with an Incinerate. We save Sandslash, transfer the Incinerate to Poliwrath. I am going to call the opponent might potentially fly here. The opponent actually full send a Brave Bird, and I'm very grateful I shielded. But they're going to throw 7 counters and the Icy Wind with a lowered defense. Icy Wind will be secure on the knockout. I also Icy Winded here. In case the opponent shielded, I wanted to guarantee getting the debuff. You never want to leave Charizard with no Protect Shield too hard behind. So we're just going to send out Zard, look for the wing attack farm down. The opponent is going to reach the Flame Charge. I am actually going to shield here, as even a resisted Flame Charge does like half my health back. Out comes Tapu Fini. We are going to need to full send a Blast Burn to secure the knockout. The opponent saving their final Protect Shield for Guzzlord. We're going to fire off the Dragon Claw. We're then going to throw 1 wing attack, look to catch back onto Sandslash. The opponent doesn't throw, but we've got so much energy. The opponent finds himself in a very, very tough spot. The Ice Punch forces the Protect Shield. The next Ice Punch won't quite be lethal, but will put him into farm down range. The opponent is still going to need to crunch or Brutal Swing to secure the knockout. The opponent fires off the crunch. We're going to be able to wing attack farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see Zygarde in the lead. Beautiful for us. The opponent save switches into Poliwrath and I respond with Zard. As I was very quick on the response, I am going to be able to fire off the Blast Burn on the CMP tie to the potential Scald. Blast Burn, force the Protect Shield. Again, this is almost certainly an Icy Wind bait, but I am going to shield. To my surprise, the opponent full send a Scald. Fair play to this opponent, someone who doesn't bait Shadow Zard. Again, we're going to full send the Blast Burn, looking to remove Poliwrath from the field of play. I've got two decent answers for Zygarde, so we're just going to allow the opponent to take me out. They actually go for the Icy Wind bait, anticipating me, going all shields down. I actually survive the Icy Wind, throw the Dragon Claw. We have switch advantage and shield advantage, and the opponent is going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the expert elo range is so good right now. The opponent farm up some energy, try and catch the Icy Wind onto Tapu Fini. We throw the Drill Run and then send out Poliwrath. We don't really have a great answer for a Tapu Fini save switch. We could say him with Sandslash, but I actually want to keep that for Dragonite. So after doing some chip damage, we send out Poliwrath. I am going to shield up the Nature's Madness, heavily over farm before firing off the Scald. Scald, despite being resisted, will secure the knockout and we leave with residual energy. Back out comes Dragonite. Dragonite will instantly be putting up that Protect Shield, blocking up the Icy Wind. I'm hoping with a lowered defense, the opponent is still going to be forced to throw, and they are. This is why it's always important to try and maximize energy wherever you can. Overfarming on that Tapu Fini forces some energy off Dragonite. Again, we're going to save our final shield for Zard. The opponent go for the Dragon Claw bait. We're then going to overfarm before firing off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch, of course, double super effective. Will be secure on the knockout. The opponent chooses to invest their final Protect Shield. And again, we're not shielding this. It's going to be one shield Zard versus the world. The opponent sends out Registeel and again going to concede the match. GG's. That battle is going to clutch up the next 5-0. I actually played 3 battles the next day as well, and I managed to win all 3 of them, so I think this team is really good. We're not going to see all 3 of them battles. We're just going to see one more because I thought this battle was funny. So this is just a bonus battle. Sandslash Dragonite, you love to see it. The opponent save switches into Drapion. I attempted to catch the crunch, but unfortunately got stuck in my Shadow Claw animation. But that's okay. We're going to bank the energy and send out Poliwrath. The opponent throws the Sludge Bomb, which I think is the correct moveset. We're then going to overfarm before firing off the Scald. Scald will be secure on the knockout. Again, I've maximised my energy, hoping we can reach double Icy Wind, although we're already quite low after taking that Sludge Bomb. The first Icy Wind forced the Protect Shield, Shadow and Shadow Crime. The opponent is going to get a massive Dragon Breath farm down. We're going to send out Sandslash. I'm going to look to fire off the Ice Punch immediately, forcing the final Protect Shield. Then, of course, you already know I'm not shielding anything here. We're always going to save our shields for Zard. The opponent try their luck, throw in the Dragon Claw bait, and at that point, they're going to concede the match. Post down below what you think's in the back. So that is going to draw to a close today's showcase. I'm so sad that both Poliwrath and Zard are getting nerfed next season, because in the Ultra League, my god, are these 2 Shadow Pokemon phenomenal. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.